Well, hello. Oh, there's so much writing again. Wow, do we really need all that writing? Square Peg Kids, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. Happy Sunday. Hooray! Here we are, doing good stuff. Let's do it, shall we? Let's begin with the flippin' Palo Santo. Give me a moment. How are ya? Nice to have you here. So, where is it? Mellow Tea. Kirsten. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. Hi, Jenna. I think I've done it right this week with what I've done. However, we shall see. Can you comment? Pop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, okay? And let's get the party started. Good evening. Nice to see you. So, are we all here for a good time? Wash away the week, do some real talk. Set some intentions, make some wonderful things happen. Hi, hi. Oh, yay, we can comment. Use it. 8221. Nice to see you guys. How fantastic. And the VIPs are in the house. Nice. Deep Soulful joined. Well, that's exactly what we need. How are you? Would you like a good session? Just receive it if you'd like to. Pop a 2 in the chat if it's been a, yeah, well, I'm alive kind of a week. On a scale of 1 to 5, let's see. How has your week been? 5 is fabulous, couldn't possibly be any better. And 1 is, yeah, it's not all a bed of roses over here. Welcome, welcome. Really nice to see you guys. Hooray. Share. Let's get some other people in here so we can all be together. Who's up for that? Give some hearts if you're up for love. Let's create some love. We got a lot of hate. Whoa. And a lot of difficulties. Should we be the change? Should we have a go at it? You think? Let's send some hearts. And how about we do this actually? Pick 3 people. 3 people that are doing your head in. Thorns in your side. And how about we send them love and light? How about we do that? Love and light. Goodness knows what that is. Send them love and light. Let's be the bigger person, shall we? So, let's get going. Firstly, my name's Poppy. Have we met? Pop a 9 in the chat if you know who I am. And I know you. Hopefully, I have the pleasure and the privilege of knowing you. And pop a 0 if you're like, don't know what the hell this is about. However, you're going to hang around for a moment and see if you can gather anything from it that might be helping you put the dots together in some kind of way. Let's start with this. What is your wish? Pop your wish in the chat and then I'll tell you a bit about the session and so on. What is your wish? What we write, we invite. Have a go. What is your wish? It's not a hard question. You don't need to think about it. It's very telling though. To be happy and contented, Jax. How beautiful. That's my little brother's name, Jax. Healing. Come on, let's flood the feed. That's lovely. What's your wish? Let's see what you get to have. To be independent. Nice. Okay. So welcome. Please share the live out. People can then decide, do they want to come and be with us? Yes or no? So if we've not met, my name's Poppy. I'm a psychotherapist, psychologist, coach for 30 years. With all different kinds of people globally, couples, individuals, children, all the things. I work for you. I'm unaffiliated. And we get to be here today to talk about life. Pop a 41 in the chat if you have in your mind something you would like to take from this, that you allow yourself to have something. What would you love to take from this? When we close, if we think about your outcome, What would you like to feel when you leave here? It might be in 2 seconds, it might be in an hour. What would you like to feel having been here and then you're off to your next thing? What would you like to feel? What would you like to gather? Clarity. Beautiful. What a fantastic thing to want. You get to have it. More whole. Beautiful. Oh yay, you guys are on it. Who are you here for now? So we're going to do, psychology, get savvy, and, really get our head on here. I'm assuming you're a progressive, are you? Pop a 1 if yes, you're a progressive. You're growth-minded. You're about, let's see what we can do to thrive here and have more health. And who are you here for? Who stands to gain from you being here, doing you true? Being around like-minded people, people who are looking to evolve, awaken, all the things. Who gets to benefit? Who will benefit from you being here and spending time with other people who are looking to cause and create things in the world very intentionally? Who gets to benefit? Your clients, your family, your partner, your health. What would you like and who's benefiting? Me and those around me. Beautiful. So please then receive, be here for you. And if you're a professional, we could talk a bit about that later. My first question, however, I'm going to douse for myself for a moment. So if you don't know dowsing, I studied it at the School of Psychic Studies in London because I wasn't well and the big pharma drugs, wow. So I used dowsing instead. Anybody else use dowsing? Pop a yes in the chat if you do. It's very simple. Everybody can do it. You get to decide. So I'm just grounding myself. And receive, because I'm also asking for grounding for you. So if you don't want it, then don't receive it. I have a thing for it, but I don't use it. But! I see the word but there, Kirsten. But. Pop a 41 in the chat if you use the word but, you guys, in your sentencing. So universal deleter. I love you, but what are you listening to? The first bit or the second bit? And. I love you and I'm pissed off. I love you, however, I'm having some issues and so on. Language. So, here's my thinking. Who's up for this? Pop a yes in the chat if you are. Is we could talk a bit about what's gone on this week. See where you're at. See how you are. See if there's things in there that you didn't know that's happened this week. So that you can test, tweak and polish. And then set some intentions up for next week. And come away feeling whole. Maybe a bit more clarity, maybe a bit lighter, maybe a bit more something. Maybe sharing, maybe making friends. Pop a 21 in the chat if you're up for new friends. That you'd like to connect with somebody here potentially. And you get to decide. Are you up for 21? Yep, people could contact me. I'm up for a good friend. And you can decide because you're sovereign. You get a sense, you have a look at their feed and you're like, no, that's not for me, love and light. And you get to deny the approach or say nothing or yes, please, or you get to take ownership of who comes in and out of your world, affecting it in what way. You get to decide. You don't have to explain. You're not a child. Pop a yes, me in the chat if it's relevant to you, the idea that you don't need to gaslight you, question you, or have a reason to be you. That you just get to do what you want to do. Not in a reactive way, in an unapologetic way. I was speaking to a client just now and it was a difficult thing that she's wanting to talk about. And it was super simple. No, thank you, not for me. And I think we make it very complicated. So that's what I'm thinking today is let's talk a bit about what your week's been like. Up for it? So I'm going to douse in the meantime because I can feel loads of energies here. We get to be together. So please share the wealth, share the video. Look, pop lots of hearts. Why not? We could do with some love. So my first question here would be, well, everything is welcome with me, firstly. I've heard it as well. There's nothing. It's all good. Ask away. I will coach, though. If I see something like but, for example, I'll talk to it and you take what you want from me and leave what you don't. You'll know if it resonates, great, take it. If it doesn't, don't. What went well this week? On a scale of 1 to 5 again, 5 being the most fantastic week, 1 being, no. How was your week if you haven't said already? Yeah, me too, Kirsten. So it's nice to have you all together. If you haven't popped your wish in the chat, pop your wish in the chat. What we want, right, we invite. Equally, somebody on the feed might go, oh gosh, they're looking for a PA. I am one, etc. You could source your wishes here, literally. What happened this week where, and are you up for it if we play along? I'm curious what happened this week where you may have overlooked yourself somewhere. But 2, if that speaks maybe to something in you. Maybe you overlooked a need. You overlooked a statement. Maybe you said yes when you meant no. Maybe something hurt you deeply and you didn't acknowledge it. You didn't check in. Not because you failed to do so, I'm just checking how you are. Let's check in how we are. Was there anywhere, pop 11 if there was, anywhere this week where you're thinking, actually, yeah, I missed that. That did hurt my feelings. However, I just X, Y, and Z, and we just check in with you. How are you? Did you miss you anywhere? Did you miss a message? We get to just touch base and ask, was it all okay this week? Was it all right? Or have you asked yourself to be something or do something or feel something that you're not ready to feel, or it just doesn't fit actually? You've tried to fit something where it doesn't fit. Filled with doubt and confusion, Jax, you're in your head then, my love. That's where all the doubt and confusion is. If you come into your heart. We're not trained to do this. Come to your heart, Jax. Whenever you have, any of you, pop a yes me in the chat if you'd be up for doing this more. Come to your heart, the heart brain. The heart develops before the brain comes straight here. Is this good for me? What do I need? What's my next best step? Is this good for my soul? Is this the right thing? And you check in. How do you get out of your head? You come into your heart, my love. And it takes some training and some patience because, of course, this is the big default place is here. Is how am I going to fix it? It's too much noise. It's unpure and it's riddled with fear. The ego's fear. Come here. This is divinity. This is universal intelligence, God, whatever. And all the magic and miracles here. Your higher self brilliance right there. 2 seconds. You get your answer. After 2 seconds, you've gone back into your head and you're into the whole long-winded attack, judgment stuff. That's not your higher self. Still soft voice. It's very short and very compassionate. This one. Listen to that and take action within 5 seconds. Tuck it and see. Anybody know this? Well, but yes, me. If you've red flag, and you've just had blinkers on like the horses do, and you've turned a blind eye. That is the behaviour, I've been there too, of people who say on their deathbed, I wish I'd had the courage to live my life instead of the life I thought others people expected of me. The blinkered stuff that have been living in my head and not here, that's the people that say, I wish I'd had the courage to live my life. Yeah, Angie. Let's send Angie loads and loads of love, can we? Anybody identify with Angie? Pop a 12 in the chat if you do. Spent so long turning a blind eye to things. We're groomed to do that, my love. It's not your fault. However, it is our choice, once we're conscious of it, what would we like to do next? You with me? I'm mentally drained. Bless you. How to carry on without being depressed. Well, it's interesting, Roxy. Can we send Roxy hearts as well? In fact, let's have a heart bomb. Have a heart bomb for all of us. Lots of love. Roxy, it's interesting, my love, and thank you for your comments, all of you. It's really, really, really permission-making for other people to put your comments. It's a real contribution. Thank you. Very courageous as well, actually. Courage and vulnerability is the same stuff. Roxy, my sister-in-law said to me years ago, I'll never forget it. She said, I don't think you're depressed, love, because I've had many. She said, I think your soul is depleted. That's different. So maybe you get to. Oh, I don't know what that means. Thank you, whoever did that. No idea. Sounds like Vegas. Maybe you get to, my love. I don't know if you've seen my video, Roxy, on... gosh, which one is it? With the grey sweater, top right here. Very popular. How to tell if we're having a nervous breakdown. Maybe you get to replenish rather than force yourself not to be depressed and all the things. My soul's damaged. Diane, my God, again, please, could we send love? Let's send love for all of us. Look how many of us get to have it. A lot of what we're going through in my mind is we're depleted. And adrenal fatigue, by the way, and I do very much support Dr. Berg, B-E-R-G. Brava, Echo, Romeo, Golf. Dr. Berg on YouTube. Adrenal fatigue. He's got a little quick test. He can tell you how to do it with a torch in your pupils dilating. Just take an adrenal supplement. I would argue pandemic, what a word, of adrenal fatigue, complex PTSD. We get to rest, my friends, without this shame attack stuff that I'm supposed to cope. You were being set up and gaslit to fucking oblivion, in my opinion. We get to be much more gentle, to ask, hang on, I'm a tribal being, asking myself to live under these certain conditions. Is it good for my soul? Is it thriving? Or is this a setup and actually I get to rest and replenish? Keto diet, yeah, he's got stuff on everything, that chap. Equally, I don't know if you can post links in the chat. Louise Hay, Signs and Symptoms, her directory online. Any ailment you have, I would say go for the metaphysical and find out. Pop a 3 in the chat if you could do more of that, or even begin. Louise Hay cured herself of cancer twice. I grew up on the battlefield, she said. I think we can know what she means by that. The metaphysical. The body never lies. Have a look. So, this week, is there anywhere, just check in, where you overlooked you? Yes or no? Pop it in the chat if you want to comment, obviously. You overlook you anywhere. And I get it, it can be, oh, I don't have time. It will come back to you. It will come back to you if you miss you. Because it's where there needed to have been a stop at some point, somewhere. Put his knees before mine. Yeah. So what's the consequence if we consider it? And please, me too, hello? Wow. What? Mess. Let's strive forward, though, with intention and health. Who's in? Well, I'm in the chat if you're in. What are the costs and consequences to you? You could pop it in the chat. When you overlook you, undermine you, disrespect you, what's that called? What is that called? That you. What are the costs? Who's affected? Who's affected? My mum told me this once. She was at a conference and a man stood up, and he was a therapist, and he said that this is what he asks his group, is who is still being affected today because you still don't feel worthy of love. Wow, what a question. Who's still being affected in your life today because still you don't feel quite yet worthy of love fully? Is that relevant? Pop for 22 if it's relevant. We get to take ownership of this stuff. I'm all for whistleblowing on craziness and manipulation. And just as importantly is we get to choose what we put our intentions on, what we think, what we feel, and what we do. That is a choice. So the behaviours we have, any behaviours that aren't healthy behaviours, that is a choice, because we're thinking about something that's causing us to feel a certain way and our actions are aligned with both of those. That's on us. That we can't blame anyone else. We're not children. And that's the first thing, by the way, us humans do, is we look to blame. It's the first thing we do. They did it, they did it, they did it. It wasn't me, it wasn't me. And what I would argue is the most generous thing you could do is we start to address the shame that we feel about not being perfect. Put a 5 in the chat if that could help you, actually. Is to be attentive to any judgment you have about you when you're not effing perfect. Because that's the reason we're not good at apologies or taking ownership of things, is because we feel like we've got to defend ourselves. No, they're going to attack me and say I'm bad and all the things, I can't do it. No, there was not a problem. No, I didn't do anything. Poppy yes me in the chat. If you damn know that just like me, Poppy Sprague, there's a lot going on that you're doing that's not flipping perfect. It's not the greatest, most perfect representation of you on a good day, let's say. And we get to befriend that. Do you agree? Pop a 20 if you agree. Pop a 22 in the chat if you agree that. Let's say I've done some human Poppy thing and I say to you, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry I got that off there. Apologies. I will do my best to do better. Sorry. And I don't say because my mum and this and that and my issues and all the things. I just say I'm sorry. 22 in the chat if you feel that would be in some kind of way a permission maker. That you know, okay, well at least she's going to hold her hand up to her shit when she shits. Yes or no? Doesn't mean you have to do it. It does start to give you a sense of how I roll. And when we're consistent, people seem to feel secure with us. It's like, I'll tell you a story. It's a quick one. It's one of the most beautiful examples I've ever had. I had a group. Who wants to hear it? Do you want to hear an example of integrity and how it made everybody else feel safe when someone took a risk with courage? To challenge something, to talk truth to bullshit, this woman did in a group of mine. You want to hear? Flipping love her. She's amazing. It was many years ago, about 8-9 years ago. I'm not going to say her name because I'm not. M. So I have lots of groups. She came into the group and she posted a few times and people are very open and doing their thing. And she put a post, and I saw it the next day, and it said something like this. Hey, Amanda. Was it that? Well, no, she did brilliant, even better. She did a video of herself in the group. And she said, hey, Amanda, I'd love to know about you. I haven't heard anything from you. I'm wondering how you're doing. And she was talking to someone who hadn't posted. And she wasn't passive-aggressive or reactive or any of that stuff. She just said, I'm mindful that I'm sharing about me and I'd love to know about others here. And I watched her and I thought, good for her. She was new to the group, the others were established, and nobody had said anything to Amanda, who'd said sweet FA, the whole flipping group. It's fair. I mean, pop a 21 in the chat if you think, wow, okay. Pop out how you feel about that. So you imagine we're all in the group and it's our group, and then this new M lady comes along and she posts, and then she goes, hang on, I noticed, and it was very nicely done, I have to say. And she says, wait, there's a lady, she's not spoken. I'd love to hear about you. I don't know about you. I'm talking about me. I'd like to know about you. And it will, again, it could be received how it's received based on our own psychologies. My assessment was it's very inviting and lovely. However, she was talking truth to bullshit. You'd be mortified. I was very, very proud of her for doing it. What she didn't know, which of course was on me, was that Amanda was my assistant. And Amanda was in the group in case I was ill or whatever, or Facebook kicked me off or all the things. So Amanda would take over and do the admin. She wasn't using the group for herself. She was there to just post for me and for us as a group. So I said this to the lady and she was like, oh no, I'm so embarrassed. I feel that I've done it wrong. I'm terrible, terrible. So well, what's interesting is, firstly, would you agree with this? Pop a 3 in the chat if you would agree with this. What I said is it's on me that I didn't disclose to you who she was. That's on me. That's my failing. I didn't let you know. I didn't think to. It totally went over my head. It was my error and failing. Clumsy on my part. She saw, though. And she talked to what she saw. I feel vulnerable in the group. I'm okay with that. However, I'm curious about the other person who hasn't spoken. I thought that's the stuff of mastery, in my opinion. How it's received is on the other person, for the other person. So I said to her, it's Amanda, and I'm so sorry I hadn't said anything. I didn't mention it. What happened for the other group members was, and bearing in mind this is coaching with me, you know, these people have been with me for quite some time at that point, so it's not just beginning. This is an established psychology that we're doing. Self-mastery is literally that, to master your thoughts, your feelings and your behaviour. And the group said that they felt even more trusting and secure and safe with this woman, because they said, you called it straight out the gate. You said what was going on. You said what you noticed. You didn't sit on it. You weren't passive aggressive. You didn't not post because you didn't feel safe and all the things. You inquired about something that you found was missing. And they felt safer with her because of it. Pop a 2 if that makes any sense to you. And it might not. You might be like, what? I wouldn't think that. I'd have thought blah, 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 blah. To me, what impressed me, and I don't mean she's a good client, I mean it made an impression on me, like in the sand, was she called it out. And that's what the group liked, is she called out what she saw. She didn't avoid it. So this is my point with us, is things can be scary because, of course, pop a 1 in the chat if you're like, what? We're not taught that. Would you agree? To speak to things. You're taught just to, you know, look good and don't say too much that's not uncomfortable. And cope as much as you can and don't have any bumps in the road. Just be okay. Be a good person and so on. Yeah, exactly. Her delivery was beautiful. However, she's a healthy lady. She's done a lot of work on herself. So, you know, it could have been what it was. We would have worked with it anyway. However, it was interesting that how the group experienced her was, oh, okay, we know what we get with this lady. She's going to talk straight. And it wasn't bullish or anything. My assistant was a bit mortified, however. That's what was going on with her. You know, it wasn't personal to her. She was just posting. So, what of this week, if you're checking in with you, and we just take a bit more time because it's really important, pop a 41 in the chat if you can see how getting conscious of this kind of thing could stop something from happening later downstream if we address it here to go, hang on, yeah, I did something and overgave there because I thought la 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 la, and I missed me, and then later down there comes the passive aggression. or the reactivity, or that you made a mistake, however you depleted yourself and you shouldn't really have been offering that out in the first place. Or you've given someone the impression that something's okay with you and it's not, and so on, and it gathers and snowballs and snowballs and snowballs, and suddenly you're facing burnout, the sack, or something else. Good. Good for you, Yasmin. Me neither. I don't want to be sectioned again. It's not fun, is it, love? What are you going to do to help you that you haven't done and didn't do that time? What shifts? This is the thing that's really important for all of us. It's a brilliant question, in my opinion. Pop a 2 if you agree. What changed? What shifted? So whenever anything changes that's important, for good or not so, we ask, what do I do differently to get this result? Is there anything from this week, if you just check in with you, to ask, did I overlook me? Did I undermine me? Did I say something that wasn't true for me? And so on. Is there anything in there, let's just check, that you could tweak, shift, address now so that it doesn't end up causing issues later downstream? And you could put a pin in it. Yes or yes? And what you might do, if it's like, yeah, but I don't know what to do, you could do a reflective question. What do I get to do about X? Come straight to your heart. 2 seconds. You will have the answer. The challenge we have is listening to it and taking action. Pop a yes, if that makes sense. That you know where to get the stuff. It's just like, how would I say that? Where would I begin? Oh my God. Felt shame. Okay, so that's where you get to intercept the shame, my love, because the shame, as Brené Brown, she's a clinical psychologist if you don't know her, I am bad. Shame. We got to get to be very careful there, because we can't possibly be all bad. That's not possible. We might have done wrong, which is guilt. That's different. Yasmin. There's lots of videos here about boundaries. Boundaries aren't for other people, my love. It's irrelevant. The boundaries are for you. So when we struggle with being heard, it's because we don't have boundaries with us. It's nothing to do with the other person. It's us. It's between us and us. What is okay, what's not, what am I deciding that I will do and won't do, and what am I going to do to honour that? So if you've got any issues with boundaries with other people, the boundaries are with you, with me. They're personal. Pop a 4 in the chat if you guys get that. If other people take advantage, it's because we don't have boundaries. Or if we do, we've not asserted them in a way that they've landed, or we haven't backed it up. We won't have backed it up, otherwise it wouldn't be happening, because there's a consequence when people don't work with us. When we're saying, I get to honour an agreement I've made with me. So when we have problems with other people in relationships, it's because we don't honour us. We don't believe we're worthy. So we give mixed messages, passive-aggressive, act out and all the things and blame everybody else. And if you change, I'll be fine. That's what we call victim mindset. What we get to do is growth mindset, which is what kinds of things do I get to decide between me and me get to change so I can have the life I want. And we model proven practices. Blaming other people is what children do. We're adults, so we get to learn this, and unfortunately our schools don't teach us this, or at least none that I know of. So we get to be together and learn together. Who's in? Pop I'm in the chat. The problem is when we blame other people, nothing can change, and we will eternally be the victim in pain, and other people will take cues from that. And it's too painful. I don't recommend it. So, where this week, this is the big kahunas question, where this week may you have missed the mark on being the best version of you with someone else? Where maybe could you have done it better with someone else? How you addressed them, or were you not as present as you could have been? It's one thing, it's always in my mind, what a lot of people have said about Bill Clinton, is that they felt like they were the only person on the planet when he spoke to them. Is there anything in the way you treated other people, in the way that you were with somebody else, where you just wasn't the best of you. Maybe your tone or the way you talk to them, or the fact that you hid behind a text message because you didn't have the courage to pick up the phone and so on. So anywhere this week where this is not about, oh my God, wow, really, lady, fucking hell, you're asking me to be perfect. No, I'm asking us to feel good about the person we choose to be every day. Do you get the difference? Pop a 3 in the chat if you're like, okay, good point. This isn't about you should know better. How would we know any of this? The only reason I know this is because I wasn't taught it, so I had to learn. Well, I didn't have to. I chose to learn for myself. Because the rest of it took me into where our friend's been in a flipping psychiatric facility. That's not fun. I don't recommend it. I'm exhausted. What do you get to do for you, Yasmin? That's what you get to do, is to take ownership. What do you get to do? One small little incremental shift. So my question here would be, is there anything that now, because we have the pleasure and the privilege of more time together on the planet, is there anything, yes or no, that you would tweak and shift slightly with the way you spoke to somebody and the way you addressed them, the way you talked to them, the way you reached out to them, the way you waited, the way you something? So what's interesting is we end up punishing people when we don't have boundaries. So if we've overcommitted or someone else overgave and then some kind of way pulled back, we end up punishing people because they don't have boundaries. So what this M lady did is she had a boundary, which is, this is okay, this is not okay for me. So I'm asking questions. It's very clear intentions that she was setting out there. So that was what the result was. People were saying, I feel very secure in this group with this woman because she will tell the truth. So when we don't tell the truth, people feel very insecure. We feel very insecure. Does that make sense? Pop a yes if it makes sense, that we would feel insecure if people aren't consistent. We can't predict and rely on their behaviour. Unreliable, so we get insecure. That's why we're disturbed people, because our parents or caregivers weren't consistent. So then we are unregulated. We don't know how to self-soothe. We don't know how to take care of ourselves, how to speak the truth, be the truth. And then we end up really in trouble. So why I asked you guys this is so you can feel good. I was speaking to a client earlier and she said, I feel free. And that's what happens when we're real. We feel free. It's flipping scary, yes. However, you start to get very practiced at feeling the feeling of kind of trepidation, and you can feel that that's a signal that you're doing something in your freest, most authentic, most integrous you. You can feel it because you feel free. Make sense? I'm not consistent even with... I'm not consistent. Until now. Yasmin, challenge for you, my love. Beautiful comment. ... Yasmin, until now. In fact, why don't we support her? Is there anything you guys would like to write in the chat? ... Until now. I wasn't good with money. ... Until now. This gets to be a threshold of change if you choose. At any point we can choose what are we doing intentionally next. I used to, until now. What would you write in the chat? I used to overcommit and not even notice until now. Now I'm in recovery from overcommitting, being a people pleaser, the most acceptable addiction in our culture, says Robert Lefevre, and so on. I wasn't good at loving myself until now. Beautiful. I wasn't as disciplined until now. Oh, you guys are just on it. Oh, bless you. Let's chaotic robotic. What a brilliant name. Let's send lots of love to our wonderful chaotic one over there. Pop a yes me in the chat if you have been chaotic in your time. My love, you start doing you and things will change. One small incremental shift. Pop a 1% in the chat. 1% shift if you're up for committing to a 1% shift every single day. And what that can look like, obviously we've all been together here today. When you put your head down at night, a 1% shift could be, what am I proud of today? What did I do well? And if you dig in all of us, even in catatonic depressed people, suicidal people, there's a healthy, functional adult piece in there somewhere that will tell you, put the cup in the sink. I'm proud I did that. And so on. 1% shift. What are you taking so far? What's one thing that's sticking out from something you've said or something you've thought or something you've noticed? What's one thing that you're like, that's new? Or that's resonating somehow? What would you say? What's landing for you? Is there anyone that gets to have an apology from you? Gets to have. If we let other people do what they do, is there anyone that gets to have an apology from you? Which is just, I overlooked that, I'm sorry. The reason we don't take ownership of stuff, as I say, is we go into shame attack because we think that it's a free-for-all. That if we take ownership of something less than perfect, that we're open to attack. No. If people choose to do that, they choose to do that. Then it's up to us how we manage that, and that's about us growing and becoming whole. Who would feel good making some kind of, I didn't do that great there. Who would, yes, me in the chat, if you would feel good to reach out to somebody and say some kind of ownership of something, like I did with my friend the other day, Mary, and rang her so we could see each other and said, I tell people that I love you all the time and I don't often say it to your face. We say it in messages, to your face. I'm sorry, I tell everybody else how wonderful you are and sometimes I don't say it directly. That kind of thing. To reach out. It's one of the top regrets of the dying. I can't remember the specific thing. Something like, I wish I'd spent more time with my friends. And how I remember it, because it got me to reach out to a friend of mine I hadn't spoke to in 10 years, how I recalled it was, I wish I would have stayed in touch with the people that meant something to me. So this week it could be one of them. Pop a yes me in the chat if there is someone that has meant something to you that you could reach out to and say, hi, I was thinking of you. You meant something to me. It's one of the top regrets of the dying. Wish I'd spent more time with my friends. To reach out. That's what I said to my friend Lois. I'm like, Lois, I was just thinking about the top regrets of the dying, like you do. We haven't spoken in a decade. However, you really mean something to me. And I haven't reached out in 10 fucking years. How are you? Do you want to get on a call? And we met and spoke for 4 hours. And then I end up living with her about a year later. There we go, Angie. Good for you, my love. And I would have no strings attached, my love. With our apology, no strings attached, no expectation. And certainly don't sit and wait for them to respond. These things come with no expectation. Release the expectation of anybody saying anything, particularly saying anything that you would like them to. Oftentimes it can be, well, fuck you. In which case, let them have that. You know, sometimes it is we've really done something damaging. So it's then about us being able to go, okay, I'm allowed to mess it up. What's important is I'm taking ownership of it. I'm not making excuses and I'm not folding. I'm fronting it to say, I'm here, I see what I did there. I care enough to tell you I will do better. I'm so sorry. And we do hang around and do better. And when it's children, our children, they need to see us solid, not fold with their anger or their something. They get to act out if we've made them feel unsafe because we haven't been consistent and we haven't had their back. They get to rage like hell. Good for them. There's a point, though, in how we take that rage Because if it's screaming and yelling and acting out and so on, then that gets to be something that is addressed. No. What I'm talking about is if some kids might be like, damn straight, blah, blah, blah. Not, oh, mum, it's fine, or dad, it's fine. Sometimes people get to have their response, you know. And when we ask them not to, then it's us doing the gaslighting, if you're getting me. Papa, yes, me, if you're getting me. I feel so guilty for it. Guilt does no one any good, my love. That's what my mum told me. This is what we do with guilt, right? Guilt. I feel guilty. I did something wrong. I did do something wrong, right? This is our nice little drawing, and I ripped it. So I'm genuinely sorry about it. Play along. So the best I can do is look to repair it. It's the best I can do, is say I'm sorry, and I'll look to repair it, and I'll look to do better. The guilt, when we hold it, particularly with the kids, when the kids can see that we're holding on to guilt, it's another way of blackmailing them, basically. If you forgive me, then I'll be fine. So then we speed up their response. We take away their autonomy to have their response because they can see we're suffering. So that's not a job for kids. Kids get to be kids. If we've got issues, we go to professionals and we go to adults. Our kids don't see us feeling bad for being shit. That's not their job. That's our friend's job. That's our therapists, our partners, and so on. So the bit about guilt, we get to deal with that. Then we can teach our kids how to deal with fallibility. We didn't know any better. If we knew better, we'd have done better, right? You with me? Are you getting it? Pop a 10 if you're getting it, and pop an 8 if you're like, lady, no, this isn't landing well at my end. Say it how it is, please. I'm sure there's lots of places, isn't there, where you can go and people saying whatever. Tell the truth. I'm here for the truth. That's my oxygen. Anyone else? They want actions, not excuses. Exactly. So the best thing we can do is observe when you attack you. All of you guys. Who's up for that? Perhaps that could be a growth challenge for this week. Pop a yes me in the chat. If you're willing to observe yourself going in on you and judging you sometimes, to just be a witness to it. Observe, not absorb yourself. Is wow, I'm judging me there. Wow, I'm going in on me there. I didn't notice mine until I cracked through. I was doing, some of you know this, I was doing the duvet on the bed, however, 15 years, let's say, ago. I was making the bed and I heard, stupid bitch, I said in my head to myself about making the bed. And the reason I did it is because, you know, the corner of the duvet thing was all messed up. Stupid bitch. I was like, wow, how long's that been going on? I hadn't even been conscious that I was speaking to myself like that. Because the duvet was a bit crumpled. My own duvet. Pop a yes me in the chat if that's possible that you have any kind of dialogue that sometimes creeps in that might be a bit like that. And if so, you get to witness it. Is that love? You get to look at you this week and others. Can I see people without judgment? Can I see people with love? Difficult stuff, huh? So, yeah. Can you see how this stuff bleeds all over the place? We bleed it all over the place when we talk to ourselves this way. This is why I say, listen, if we have warmongering in our head in the mirror, why do we think little kids are being ripped away from their families in war? The war is happening because we are warmongers. We. How does that land? True or not true? Hi Snacks and Sunset, what a great name. Pop a yes me in the chat if you'd like to be more peace, pro-peace. to notice you, to witness you when you hear you or notice you talking to you poorly is, hang on a minute, there's some warmongery in that. Is that what I want to spend my life doing? Is being at war with myself? More peace than love, yeah. Don't like that harsh critic. So that harsh critic, I would argue, is there to protect us. It's been its function. That's why it's been there, trying to protect you. However, actually, it's got away with a method that's very oppressive. And that bleeds into our relationships. It bleeds into our bank balance. It bleeds into the way we eat, the way we move, the way we talk, the way other people treat us, the way other people target us, and so on. So we get to be more kind and know that there's a little person somewhere in here looking at us, waiting, hoping maybe, that maybe we'll do something that lets that part of us know it's worthy of love because of the way we're talking to us or responding to us or setting a boundary or saying, hang on a minute, I'd said something last week, I've overcommitted, I'm really sorry. It's something I notice I've been doing, I've overcommitted. What I can do is X time and X date, that date, no. Well, you can't do that. No, I overcommitted, I'm sorry. One sorry is plenty. Or why would you do? I overcommitted there. And if people get defensive and then you start getting defensive, then all it says is you believe that you don't have a right to change your mind. And that's a you problem. So they're a guide and a teacher. Proper 22 if you get it, that when you're triggered, they're your teacher. They're just shining a light on your own stuff. You're saying something, it's upsetting me because I believe I'm not worthy of changing my fucking mind. That's a me problem. And you get to be very gentle. You get to cry your eyes out, you get to be angry and so on. You don't get to judge you for starting to heal. You get to welcome you and ego stroke you and soothe you for going, bloody hell, that's scary. That's scary. I said I did something and I'm changing it. Yes or yes? Can you see how we could make the whole world see if we start taking ownership of our own health and happiness? Boundaries aren't walls. It's security making for people. In fact, Tony Robbins, I don't know if you've seen, if you haven't, on Netflix, his first documentary, I Am Not Your Guru. After the credits roll, there's 20 minutes of extra footage that most people I don't know have seen it. And that is exactly what I'm saying between a mother and daughter. And they're having an issue. And the issue is the daughter is furious because she doesn't set boundaries. So the daughter doesn't feel safe with her and she resents her for it. So oftentimes when I work with families or couples, the kids are furious because they haven't felt safe because the parents are too nice and mousy. They don't want to assert their authority because we're not taught how to do that in a very loving and safe way. So the kids run havoc and they are furious with the parents because they don't feel safe. So they're angry with them. And then we think we're being lovely, right? And it's like, oh my God, how the hell do we do this stuff? Love you too, Gone Feral. Nice to see you. Happy Sunday. So, how about we take a bit of time now and decide, what would you like to call in this week? You up for it? Hi, Danielle. Welcome. What is your word of the week coming up next week? What's your word of the week? What would you like to cause and create? What could be a word that each day you wake up, this is my word of the week. I'm going to start being intentional about my week and what happens. What's your word? Patience. That's a beautiful word. I've forgiven her, but my sisters didn't yet. Huh. Love and light to your sister. Courage. Progress. Wow. Yazin, I love that. Positivity. Oh my God, you guys are absolutely on point. Hi, Sally. Welcome, my love. Hi, Izo. What's your word of the week? We're going into a new week. You're an adult. we're big people now. We can do things that we like. Want to help her set boundaries now. Set your own with you and you, my love. That's how you help. It's lead by example. Don't tell. This is the thing with humans. We like to be led, not told. Would you agree? We don't like people doing techniques on us, do we? Yes or no? I'm going to do a technique on you so that your boundaries are better. Are we going to be feeling good about that? We show people how to be with boundaries by having them for ourselves, which is, for example, if you say, I'm looking to lose weight, love, you lose the fucking weight. That's the boundary. You make an agreement, you fulfill your agreements. That's how we show our kids boundaries, is we do what we'll say we'll do. We don't tell them how to live. That's not our job. Ironically, that's not what parents are here for. We're here to guide, not tell. Dowser agrees with me, at least. Best gift we can offer others, in my opinion, is self-respect and self-care. And that's not screaming and yelling and asking other people to respect me, respect me. It's us respecting us. To know our limits and to be very gentle when we witness, wow, you want me to set boundaries or calling myself a bitch because I'm making the bed wrong? We got to start somewhere, people. Yet. I love that word. Angie, let's have lots of hearts for that, my love. Yet, you said. Genius. The word of the week. Okay, so shall we visualize? Because this is a thing with experiencing life. If we get to visualize how we feel. This is oftentimes where people, they win the money or they get the partner or they get the something, and then they're like, now I'm a billionaire and I still feel depressed or whatever. What's the feeling you would like to have this week? What would you like to feel in your heart, mind, body, and soul this week? And you already know that feeling because we can't really want something we haven't already had. What would you like to feel? Triumph! What a fantastic word. Who said that? Sally. Wow, I like that. Good for you, my love. Until now, Yasmin. Worst critic. Until now, my love. Contentment, strength, peace. Accomplished. These are lovely. These are lovely. Joy, completedness, positive, joy. I've got 2 joys, I think. What would you like to feel? And what I'll say, and it's totally understandable, because again, we've got no education. Joy is the feeling. These other words are fascinating and brilliant. They're not feelings, they're thoughts and they're sort of adjectives and so on. Feelings, joy, happiness, love, anger, shame, grief, fear. Those are feelings, sexual feelings. What would you like to feel this week? Safety, calm. Keep coming with the words because we find that it's all semantics really, isn't it? However, the point is the feeling has an impulse. So if we say, joy, then we know that there's an impulse, right? The body wants to do something in joy. It's usually to look at each other so we can share it. What would you like to feel this week? Trust. Beautiful. So that's about, trust starts with us, right? Is perhaps give you a 1% shift, something that you get to say to you, I'm going to do, and you follow it through because you're building trust between you and you, that little person in you. Pop a yes, like me. If there is still a little person in you, pop a yes if this is true, who still actually gets to be impressed by how you treat you so that that part of you now feels safer because it's not been particularly safe. Not consistently and long term anyway. To be really kind. Some of us will have had little kids in us that if we went in and said, hey, how are you? They wouldn't talk to us. My little person wouldn't have. It'd be like, whatever, love, I'm not talking to you. Wow, never. And now she's starting to talk to me. So who's in for that? is that we start to befriend the most important person here. Is this beautiful bright light in there, that when you're more whole and free and connected and respectful and trusting and safe there, then you'll start to build very solid, very loving, very compassionate, very progressive relationships outside, and we're stronger together. However, if there's a massive disconnect here, it's very difficult for others of us to connect for any period of time, because we can't sort of keep hold, because we're not fully there, if that makes sense. That makes sense? Yeah, my love, we all get to feel safe. So what kind of week you're going to have then, you wonderful ones? What kind of week are you going to have? This is going to be my week. Even in the worst things happening, we get to decide how we will feel, what we will think about, and what we will do. And I get it that sometimes it's like, you know, Sartre said it best. Somebody here said it recently, actually. Jean-Paul Sartre. Hell is other people. What I need to remind us, who's in with this, yes, me, if you're in, is we have a choice point at every point. How would I like to be? Do I want to be my bitchy self that temper tantrums? Do I want to avoid? Do I want to dismiss? Do I want to be that person, aligned behaviour with the person that says, I wish I'd had the courage to live my life instead of the life I thought other people expected of me? Or do we get to be that person who perhaps goes, hang on, please could I have? I'm going to take 10 minutes, half a day, and just be with me for a minute. What's the problem? I'm just taking time for me. I'm sending lots of love, and we self-soothe. We self-regulate to go, what do I need? Hand on heart, 2 seconds. You take care of you, and we'll start a trend of health here, folks, and you'll attract it back. Pop a 1 if you can see how that would happen. Someone says to me, hey Poppy, you mega bitch. And I'm like, yes, I like being a mega bitch. Thank you for noticing. How are you? Happy Monday. And we go on from there. We get to decide. And by the way, things can turn at any point. We're very powerful. Sometimes people might say, you know, oh, you know, your mortgage hasn't been paid for 50 years and there's been a mistake and it's all on you and you're going to have to pay it today, otherwise we're going to take your firstborn, or whatever it is. Oh, we're on a countdown. That's new. I haven't seen that before. Go away. The point is, we can change our mind on anything, and we can change life on anything. This thing it's trying to make me report something. I don't want to report anything. Go away, verification. So it's doing its own thing. The point is, I've never seen anything like that. Try to refresh again. I am trying to refresh. How interesting. What I've seen happen with me and many, many people is we go, oh, okay, thanks for letting us know. And you set your intention on how you want to feel about things. And more often than not, people will come back to you and say, I'm so sorry. Please forgive us. Here's whatever amount to say sorry because we got it wrong. There was a clerical error and actually everything's fine. I didn't know that there's a countdown thing, so it's counting me down and asking me to report myself, of course. So it's all very odd. I don't know what that is all about. I'll take a screenshot, actually. I hope this was useful. I am assuming it was very useful because we're all brilliant and lovely here. Thank you for being together. Probably yes me in the chat if you trust that you will have a damn good week. Because you are in control of your thoughts, you are in control of your feelings, and you are in control of your behaviour. So you get to design it how you like. Because the personality is made up of thinking, feeling, and doing, and we're in charge of it. Yes or yes? Let's all go get what we like this week. We get to have it, my loves. And on Tuesday, in the events section, if you're interested, there's a session 7 p.m, same time as today, UK, this Tuesday in 2 days' time for open coaching questions. Anything and everything. You are so very welcome to come and join, and we'll be together for an hour and 10 minutes on Tuesday. Other than that, I shall see you on Sunday. Thank you for your beautiful company. I will, I can just see here very faintly something about a question. If I've missed something, my love, I do apologise. Come on Tuesday, it's a perfect place to have private questions answered directly. Go well, you guys. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you next Sunday. You can register for one of these again. I'll put that up in a short period of time. Send in lots and lots of love. Have a fantastic week. Oh. Well, we'll be together until it cuts off in 1:59. Refresh to try again. I'm just going to have to let TikTok decide when we stop. It's doing its own thing, folks. So, considering we get to be together a bit more, how about we put your wishes onto the dowser until we go? That might be a nice way to spend the rest of the time. Lots of hearts. Put in your intentions and your wishes on the dowser. My yes, in case you don't know, is a circle. And back and forth is a no. Anybody can do this, folks. It's how we found water with dowsing rods. Wishes, please. Wish, wish, wish. It's a yes. It's all a yes. Have a fabulous week, you guys. I'm afraid I can barely see any comments because there's the white, what I'm looking at is a white sheet with this big red thing saying couldn't load page refresh, and it's on a countdown timer for 40 seconds. So forgive me, I'm not ignoring your statements. I can't see much. So all of our wishes are a yes is the point. What we write, we invite. Pop it in the chat. More please, yes please. I would love to have X, Y and Z. Yes please, more please. We get to have what we like, my loves. All of us. All of us. Thank you for being here. Good God, that's quite big, isn't it? It's a definite yes.